The demand for sand is skyrocketing, leading to uncontrolled quarrying with devastating consequences. Sand is a resource useful in building and construction in many places, and regular quarrying is changing the land, destroying farms, and affecting communities. As demand rises, the environment and people's lives are at risk. What is the true cost of this industry, and how can we find a balance between progress and protection? Welcome to Beneath It All, the untold consequences of sand mining. Today, we are in Kajiai village, a village located in the outskirts of Kendu Bay town, Rakoro constituency, Homa Bay County, a place where sand quarrying is and has been the main source of livelihood for many households. As we drive into Kajiai village, we are welcomed by a beautiful landscape that looks appealing to the eye at a distance. But as we get closer, we find out that these are not just some features, but features formed as a result of sand quarrying. We meet the residents of this village who are willing to talk to us about the whole quarrying activity. We meet George Otieno Mboga, a man who owns one large quarrying site. Mboga tells us that the site is in his own piece of land, and he also explains to us what the land was previously used for. He goes on and tells us the reason behind him shifting from farming to sand quarrying.
My name is George Otieno Mboga, and I hail from Kajiai village. This land has been in my family for generations, and we have always relied on it for our livelihood. In the past, we used to engage in agricultural activities planting crops such as cassava and millet. However, our efforts were not always fruitful, leading to small harvests and making it difficult for us to educate our children. In order to provide for our family, we decided to take a portion of the land and use it for sand harvesting activities. This has become our main source of income, allowing us to support our family and give our children the education they deserve.
George Mboga is not the only resident of Kajiai who has opened up a quarrying site in his compound. There are also his neighbors who have done the same. Mary Adhiambo, who is a widow and the breadwinner in her family, also gives us a brief narration on her reason for engaging in sand quarrying activity and the benefits she has realized from it.
My name is Mary Adhiambo Owino. I'm married in Kajiai and I'm from this neighborhood. I'm also doing this work because we used to do farming. We used to plant cassava, groundnuts, but the harvest was not doing well. My husband died and left me with children. My firstborn being in class 2, I had no other means of taking my child to school, and I preferred to do sand quarrying so that my child will go to school. Sand quarrying has enabled me to take my child to school till the child completed Form 4 and college. With my second born, I also did the same thing till the child completed Form 4, but I had no money to take him to further studies. I realized when I do this work, I would earn some money because when I planted groundnuts and they never did well, and that was the only hope that I had, which could have helped me take my child back to school. So sand quarrying is the type of work we are doing here which have made this place become like this.
Besides the tremendous benefit of sand quarrying, such as job creation for many young men in Kajiai, and as a source of livelihood for many households, there are also some challenges they face as a result of engaging in this activity. A young man, Eli Onyango, who just finished school and is struggling to make both ends meet, takes us through some of the challenges they face as a result of sand quarrying.
I'm Eli Onyango, a victim of the sand mining effect. And in this area where sand mining has taken place, we normally encourage sand mining so as we get several benefits. But despite the several benefits, there are many challenges more than the benefits that we normally get. And the challenges, for example, in this area that we are now, we have experience of flooding during rainy seasons. As you see, this water, it normally rises to above the ground there, above that cliff. So another effect is that the land is no longer fertile.
after the mining activity. As you can see in this area, many parts have been exposed to rocky areas, which cannot encourage any farming activity, and the land is just left bare and unused over time. And the challenge that normally happens when the site is still ongoing is the effect of death that normally occur when the cliffs fall to the people that are doing the mining activity, where most people succumb to this thing as there are no improvised equipments to rescue them in time. We normally do it bare hands. So that is another problem that you normally have. And the biggest problem to our settlement is that after the activity has taken place, it will force many people to relocate into other areas. And to some people who have small pieces of land, they will be left to come back and stay in the holes where they had done the mining. And that is very much dangerous to them, for it is a seasonal stay. When there is drought, they stay comfortably, but during the rainy seasons, they are afraid of their lives because they can succumb to flooding anytime. So those are some of the challenges that we experience. And also the area now remains prone to erosion since there are no land barriers that can help us to preserve our land.
Onyango says that the activity has also posed adverse effects to the people in the village, such as displacement and relocation. Kajiai village, which was once a thrilling village, a place where families built their homes, raised their children, and buried their loved ones. But as the demand for sand grew, so did the pits, forcing people to move. Now, those who once lived here have been pushed further into already quarried land, making way for laborers to dig extensively. Onyango also tells us that many laborers have also died as a result of being covered in the pits. The process of sand quarrying leaves behind overhangs that can easily fall and bury those working in the pits. As the truck rolls in, a sudden burst of energy sweeps through the quarry. Laborers race towards the truck, each desperate to secure a spot. They run, push, and shovel with urgency, and one might think they're chasing a fortune, but the reality is far from it. For instance, for every load of sand sold at 3,000 Kenya shillings, the landowner takes 2,200 Kenya shillings, leaving just 800 Kenya shillings to be shared among the laborers, no matter how many they are. And while they toil under the scorching sun, the transporter, who is also the middleman, will later sell the same sand at double or even triple the buying price. The hardest worker in this chain remain the least rewarded, while those who never lift a shovel reap the greatest profits. This is the reality of the sand trade, where sweat is cheap, but sand is gold. Even as they struggle to pass this road, they will still come for more, since they know how much they benefit from buying cheaply and reselling at double or triple the buying price. As we delve deeper into the village, we meet Kennedy Ochieng Okal, who was once practicing sand quarrying but later came to the realization of the consequences of sand quarrying and solely depending on it as the main source of income. With the help of one NGO, he has managed to engage in sustainable practices such as planting vegetables in bags, beekeeping, which he learned from his friend, and making beehives, which he trained himself to do, planting trees, as well as planting drought-resistant crops. He takes us through his journey and how these methods have become a coping mechanism for his household.
An mokwongo nyenga iluongo ni Kennedy Ochieng Okal.
My name is Kennedy Ochieng Okal, and this is my home. I have a large compound, but it was not very useful for anything. So I decided to plant some vegetables because buying them was very expensive. I chose to plant suckers, a type of vegetable that can survive even during drought seasons. This has helped me to cut my daily spending cost. Initially, I planted these vegetables on our land, but the soil was not best for agriculture, so they sometimes dried out. Through a group called Mango Tree, we were given some help to plant our vegetable each. Initially, I planted these vegetables on our dry land, but the soil is not the best for agriculture, so they sometimes dried out. Through a group called Mango Tree, we were given bags to help us plant our vegetables, each containing at least 70 plants. This is enough for me to survive for a long time.
koting'o nwalo tielo 72 to kaka gen magi eki ginyalo romowa chiemo katiyo gi mach odiochieng' achiel achaka tiyo gi machielo kamano.
Mr. Okal is also looking forward to training some of his group members some of the sustainable practices so as to cope with the situation in Kajiai and ensure that sand quarrying is not the main source of income.
In my compound, I was experimenting with planting bananas to see if the land was suitable for agriculture. I started with one plant and recently added another, and I'm pleased to report that they are doing well. I'm part of a group called Mango Tree, which educate farmers on proper farming technique. This group has been incredibly helpful to us. In addition to bananas, I have also grafted mangoes and tested the soil. I plan to encourage my fellow farmers to try planting mangoes as well. I have also planted a variety of other trees around my compound, keeping in mind that it takes a long time for trees to mature. This is why I've included shorter-term plants like banana, mangoes, and vegetables alongside the trees. The trees represent a long-term investment, while the other plants provide more immediate benefits. Many individuals with high blood pressure, diabetes, ulcers, and cancer who are advised to avoid sugar turn to honey as a healthier alternative. Honey is a beneficial substance that can be useful in household applications. Bees are beneficial to our health, as their stings can help prevent malaria and other diseases. They also play a crucial role in maintaining security by protecting properties from theft and misuse. On the other hand, I have cultivated Napier grass for commercial purposes. I am passionate about teaching people how to keep bees and the benefits they bring to our environment and well-being.
The residents of Kajiai village have come to the realization of how much damage sand quarrying has caused and that the benefits are fewer compared to the extent of destruction. They are now appealing to the government and relevant authorities to come to their rescue and help them reclaim their land so that they can put it into better use.
My name is Nelson Ochieng, and I come from Kajiai in Kanyangwana village. In connection with the research conducted today by students from Maseno University, we are appealing to the government for a grader. This equipment will help us refill the area and plant trees, which is essential in preventing soil erosion.
As the sun sets over this vast quarry, we are reminded of the delicate balance between progress and preservation. Sand quarrying has fueled our cities and economies, yet it has also scared our landscapes and ecosystems. This journey reveals the resilience of nature and the intertwined stories of communities that rely on these lands, emphasizing the urgent need for sustainable practices. Every grain of sand carries a story of life, loss, and renewal, urging us to reflect on our resource management. The choices we make today will impact future generations, and it is our responsibility to honor both progress and the natural world. May this exploration inspire us to tread lightly and act wisely as stewards of our earth.